Hello, welcome back to Doing Bart Things. This is Bart, and today we've got a video for you regarding the release of the Nvidia RTX 4070. This is the non-TI variant, and kind of what we have figured out from the released benchmarks and everything. It is on sale now, so you can go to Newegg or Micro Center or wherever and see the actual cards for sale. I'm going to click over in a second to the Micro Center site to kind of give you guys an idea of some of the custom cards and what's out there. I went ahead and opened up a Gamers Nexus review. Again, don't be afraid to check out Gamers Nexus. They go super in depth. There's a lot of different channels out there that you can go check. My advice on getting advice on computer hardware is simply, don't trust one source, get multiple sources, because a couple things. One, testing methodology will be different between the various sites. So opinions may vary. There's also the thing called the silicone lottery, which is commonly referred to simply because, just like an engine, sometimes you get a video card that's a little bit better than others, sometimes worse. I don't think that that's too much a factor on this particular card because it's just some of the advantages of it are what kind of make it sort of good for very specific use case. However, overall, this is not. I don't think this card's a great value. That's kind of been the story that I've just been saying over and over again with Nvidia. So, if we take a look at this graph that I've got out here, I thought this was a good one because it is a 4K quality test on Horizon Zero Dawn. However, what's interesting about this test is that it's not GPU bound and they are running at 4K. I thought that was very interesting. So I know that because if you look at the top of the chart, so the 4090 is just pulling away, right? So you're seeing a nice chunk of performance gain. Its 1% lows are almost getting close to the 4080's max. So what that tells me is this title at this resolution with these quality settings is not GPU bound at all. There's room for scaling from the GPU itself, which is why I kind of paused it. And you can see as the chart goes from bottom to top, like there's kind of a gradual scaling. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Now, I think it's also pretty typical of what you're going to find. The 4070, at least the FE edition, and I think even some of the custom editions, near as makes no difference. It's basically a 3080. It is literally just that performance. It does have 12 gigs of VRAM, so it's slightly more capable at, I think down the road as games get more intense. That's the good news, is because at least you get the 12 gigs, you can kind of be prepared for that. But at the same time, it's just a 3080. Like that's basically it trades blows with 3080. There's a couple of outliers where it does a little bit better or a little bit worse, but that's kind of what you see. So from the AMD side, that means the performance matches roughly a 6800 XT. And again, this is very title specific. That's the caveat. Like, go look at reviews, look at specific titles that you like to play when you're making a purchase for your gaming setup. But don't get caught up on 10 frames per second, right? 5 or 10. Like, use common sense when it comes to your money, and don't pay $300 more to get 10 frames per second. That's basically what I'm saying here. And I've even bought video cards that were slightly not exactly the right kind because it didn't make any difference for the main games I was playing, mainly because I just wanted it to be able to run the oddball game or two, that, like, for example, World of Warcraft, right? There's still plenty of people out there who play World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft just does not need a top flight GPU at all. So I wouldn't even base a GPU buying decision on WoW at all. I would base it upon any other game that you may pick up. Like if you're going to pick up Hogwarts Legacy. Okay, now maybe like base your buying decision off of that title, go see some benchmarks, see what your budget is, that kind of thing. Because anything you get will be able to run WoW at a pretty high rate, right? Like it's almost not worth really looking at. That's kind of my logic a lot of times when I go to look at buying a new GPU, or when I build a new system altogether. So looking at this is it's just not. So the 4070 is $600. If I click over here to Micro Center, you can see here's some of the different add-in models. Okay. If I open one, let's look at the Gigabyte. So the Gigabyte is $669, so that's actually $670 is what they're going to charge for that initially. If we look at the what's the Asus one going to be? Okay, $600. So there's a dual fan design that's $600. Zotac will be probably $600, yeah. And then got your tough card, which will be $680. Good gravy. Okay, so you get kind of the idea of the price range, right? For the money of this, 100% you can go get you a 6800 XT and probably save some money right now at this moment. You could get you a 6900 XT for roughly the same price, but the card that I would look out for is the 6950 XT. The 6950 XT can be had for less than one of these higher end 4070 models. And this is a faster card. I don't know if I would call it like a completely different class, but it's definitely a faster card. It comes with 16 gigabytes of VRAM, and why that is important is because later down the line, you're still going to be able to crank up a lot of the quality settings on this card that you would not be able to on the 4070, because 12 gigs at some point could be a limiting factor. If you're, say, gaming at 4K and you want all the quality settings that you can get, then that could be a factor. Ray tracing, this card is going to do. That's the thing, is I think they did some ray tracing benches, and what they discovered is because this is just nerfed in performance to where it is, it's such cut down from the 4080 and the 4070 Ti that when you ray trace with it, it doesn't really smash the AMD products, even though the current line of AMD cards do not do ray tracing quite as well. There have been some performance improvements with ray tracing in regards to the AMD cards, and so it doesn't really run away. It does better in some circumstances, but it doesn't really run away from cards that are roughly the same price that are just basically higher in parts. I mean, the RX 6950 actually debuted at $1,000. It was the 7900 XTX of its generation. So that's just something to consider. So now that I've done, old man complain about the price of this, because I think it is overpriced. What are some of the use case scenarios and things that would make this GPU maybe a little desirable? Well, for one, because it's so cut down, it is pretty power efficient. The Founders Edition still comes with a 6-pin cable. I think some of these partner cards, or maybe all of them, are going to come with 8 pins. Let me see if what does this Gigabyte one come with? Okay, the Gigabyte comes with the 12-pin. Whoops. this Asus card will come with an 8-pin. Okay, so that's a normal 8-pin. So you can get it with a normal 8-pin. So that's kind of an advantage if you're rocking an older power supply, which I think a lot of us are at the current moment. Something else, even the custom cooled models don't seem to take up 4 slots and be 800 millimeters long. So they will fit inside of a smaller case. This could be a candidate for a mini ITX or micro ATX case situation that has limited space for a video card. This could be a candidate for that. I still don't like the performance in comparison to some of the other offerings. But again, I'm stretching to look for a reason for this card. What does MSI have here? Yeah, so 2.5 slot design, not too bad. Kind of long. I think this is going to be a 12-pin. Yep, that's a 12-pin design. So I'm sure that there will be a custom cooled variant with an 8-pin, should you want that, around here somewhere. I don't think it's going to be the tough. Nope, it's got a 6-pin. But yeah, at the price that the partners are having to charge for these custom cooled versions, just not worth, I don't think. I think you run out and get yourself a 6950 XT. Like if we just maybe, yeah, 370 Ti. It does render the 370 Ti bunk, but you can see here, like the 6950 XT. Here's one for $649, and they get cheaper. There's a 6800 XT, which is very competitive with that for $560. So it's $40 or $100 less than some of the custom cooled models. Here's one for $570. Here's a 6950 XT custom cooled. It's ASRock, but it's custom cooled for $649. So it's right in that custom cooled price of the 4070. And again, I just think with 16 gigs of RAM, GDDR6, I think in the long term, this card ends up serving you well, and a little bit better than the 4070. The downside to this card is it is a little bit more power hungry, obviously. It's bigger, so it's going to be harder to fit into a smaller enclosure, that sort of thing. But I think that everybody would do themselves a service by looking at that previous generation stuff that's getting heavily discounted, because I just don't think that the prices of the new stuff coming out are in line at all. I think that they will knock $50 to $100 off in the next 3 or 4 months on that card, and then maybe it will sell. That's my guess. Like, I just don't think anybody's going for it. I mean, I just, almost out of principle, myself personally, I'd probably rather buy an Intel GPU. I'd buy one of the A750s or A770s just to spot them, but that's, again, I don't advise, I don't make advisements based off of emotion, so that's your guys' call. But I would say at that price point, the AMD products really got to get a close and hard look at them. Something else too. What was this range? 750. Something else to take a look at would be, where is it? Holy crap! Did they sell out of them? Or am I not going? Oh, I need to go one step up, don't I? So. Okay. Just a tad over that range, I noticed this guy, a 7900 XT from ASRock for $780 at Micro Center. And I think you can find them for $799 online. You can find other deals. Man, don't sleep on that. Like, if you're looking for a GPU, like, that might also be an option, if you're going to step up to this, so you don't have to step up to $1,000 for like an XTX or even $1,200 for a 4080. I think this card competes very favorably against a 4070 Ti, even though they end up being sort of around the same price. So that's something to keep an eye on. Anyway, so that's that. I guess my overall judgment is there are a couple of use cases potentially for this 4070, but I am not impressed by its performance. As I knew I wouldn't be. I knew it was going to be a 3080 basically in performance. It is a 3080 basically in performance. If you have a 3080 series card or greater, there is zero reason, I think, to upgrade to anything up to about $1,200. Like I wouldn't even upgrade from a 3080 to a 4080. 4090, if you find out that you just won the lotto, maybe. Or if you just have more money and you know what to do with, then okay, that's a sizable upgrade. You will notice that right away. But I'm just not blown away by pretty much any of this. I think I'm out on this generation. So, next thing, let's move. Or actually, I wonder if I should save that for another video. Hey, I could make 2 videos. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. So, I'm going to cut it here. I would say, again, if you're looking to build a new machine, don't sleep on them AMD cards. That's what I'm saying. But if you need a small form factor machine that doesn't do so bad on power, then the 4070 may be worth a look if you're willing to pay a premium price for it. That's about it. Guys, listen, thank you for listening. I may just do another video real quick to talk about some other stuff. Hardware kind of deal as far as like cases that I'm looking at, that sort of thing. Anyway, no big deal. Guys, you have a great one. And if you have any questions or anything, leave a comment, like, oh my gosh, maybe even subscribe. I can't even believe if someone would subscribe is amazing, because this is a decidedly low rent production. And it's probably going to be that way for a while. I'm doing this more for fun than anything, just talking about hardware stuff, maybe giving some folks some advisement, hopefully. It's okay to disagree with me if you disagree. But either way, I thank you for your time. Bye now.